Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy Big J Britt. This is Sports Talk with a Faith Twist. It is brought to you by the JTC Exchange, which is always reminding you if you're going to have a conversation, make it a good one. Check out the website, www.jtconthemove.org, to help donate, help spread the conversation, buy yourself some gear. We, got a little bit of everything for everybody. Shameless plug. Insert here. Anyway, I'm back, brother. Got my mic working. It's been down for a little bit. Finally got the kinks worked out, so you're going to be seeing a lot more of this kid. But yeah, I want to talk about some sports real quick and, throw some faith in there. But right now, what I'm, hot topic right now is Ezekiel Elliott. And is he suspended or is he not suspended? Well, that is a good question. He got a 6-game suspension handed down for all of his off-the-field issues, domestic issues and stuff like that. And I was listening and hearing, and apparently even his dad was saying that he's worried about what he's going to do by himself. Like I'm assuming by that statement he means without his family and stuff like that around. Unfortunately, that's not a good sign that your own father doesn't know what you're going to do when you're by yourself. What happens with these kids a lot of times, man, is we don't look at them as kids. We look at them as celebrities right from the get-go. And a lot of times these guys have issues, whatever they may be. Some of them are mental, some of them are physical, some of them are emotional. And when you're a superstar like in Ezekiel Elliott, you were given a boatload of money. And that doesn't help your situation usually. It usually amplifies it. You always hear people say, well, we're going to sign people to watch them. That never helps. It's not until the person decides to change, decides to do something different, that, they actually do different. So in this case, the Players Association are appealing. They're doing their due diligence. They're trying to look out for Ezekiel Elliott because that's what a union is supposed to do. And in that process, they put in for an appeal. While the appeal is being heard, I think they said, I'm looking for it real quick, I believe it's Friday is when they actually are going to have the hearing. But since it's going to take a few days, I'm reading on ESPN.com right now, but why they are going through the procedure, it's going to take a few days to come out with the thing. That's why he's able to play Sunday night. It's not that the suspension is gone. It's since it's in an appeal process, he's kind of not suspended for this weekend because the appeal process is going on. Because it's a good move for the NFL, because if the appeal gets heard and they overturn the suspension, now they don't owe Ezekiel Elliott anything. They let him play this weekend and he plays week 2 and goes on, if nothing else. Some people are like, well, if he's suspended, he should be suspended this week, and then if it gets overturned, he can play again in week 2. It's just kind of like a political thing. It's all about saving face. And let's not forget the fact that it is a national televised Sunday night football game with the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Football Giants. So if you can have Ezekiel Elliott on the field for that to make it a better game, then the NFL wants that, because nobody wants to see a lopsided game. Nobody wants to see, because, let's face it, without Ezekiel Elliott running the ball, I don't know how good of a game it's going to be. Granted, Dallas has a good offensive line, but, in my opinion, I've been telling everybody all offseason, I believe the NFC East is the Giants to lose. I believe their defense is at least their front is very good. They don't have a horrible secondary. The Eagles have a horrible secondary, not the Giants. They added weapons on offense, obviously, with Ingram, the rookie out of Ole Miss, the tight end, bringing in Brandon Marshall, which is that tall target that Eli Manning needs, especially in his latter days. His arm strength getting away from him. So I really do think that, but we're digressing. So, let's not sit here and say that this isn't a move by the NFL to help them both ways, political and financial. So 100% the NFL cares about themselves and the Shield. That's it. Believe me, if it wasn't going to benefit them, Ezekiel Elliott would not play this weekend. So that's that. So will he still be suspended? You know, Roger Goodell, man, he rules with an iron fist. I'm not a fan of him. I know a lot of people aren't. So if he wants him suspended, he's going to be suspended. You see, he took the Deflategate all the way through federal court because he wanted Tom Brady suspended. That's how much he made a mockery of the whole situation over some deflated footballs. So if he wants something to happen, he's going to do everything in his power to make it happen. Speaking of Tom Brady and Deflategate, Tom Terrific, Mr. 40-year-old quarterback, he opens up the football season, which is tomorrow night, Thursday night, September the 7th. Sorry, but this night shift life got me forgetting what date it is. So September the 7th sees actually a rematch between two coaches from the Super Bowl 2004 and Bill Belichick and Andy Reid. Us Eagle fans remember Andy Reid was the coach for the Eagles then when the puking happened and horrible clock management, et cetera, et cetera. But you see two great coaches kick off the NFL season Thursday night. Tom Brady starts his campaign to be the oldest quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl ring. They got a good team, man. They got Gronk back healthy. The question is, how long is he going to be healthy? They added Brandon Cooks. Now they lost Julian Edelman for the year, but they just got Philip Dorsett from Indianapolis. So they got weapons, man. And Bill Belichick is a genius there's a joke going around, and you always see it online, and it says, Bill Belichick just signed a bagger from Giant to start in the slot this week. And it's a joke, but, man, Wes Welker was a special teams player in Miami. And because of Bill Belichick, he became a household name. He knows how to use people. Look at Deion Branch. Deion Branch played for Bill Belichick, was a superstar. Went away, Seattle, nothing. Came back New England, played well again. Kevin Falk, Troy Brown, Ben Watson. I'm trying to just think of names that he was able to just really magnify them, man. Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola. Just use guys the way they look at the defensive players. Chung played well for New England, went to Philly, sucked, came back to New England, played well again. They just bring the best out in their players. Bill Belichick is a genius when it comes to that. Andy Reid is also, I believe, 1,000%. If he gets a Super Bowl ring, he is a first ballot Hall of Fame coach. I believe he's still going to be a Hall of Fame coach just because of his wins. Because he is one of the best coaches. Don't forget, when he took over the Philadelphia Eagles job, he was a quarterback's coach for the Green Bay Packers. And he took over the head coaching job in Philadelphia. And he took the not sexy pick in Donovan McNabb. Everybody wanted Ricky Williams. He got booed, and everybody hated the pick. And he turned McNabb into a superstar, a stud quarterback, until he blew his knee out. And then when he came back, he tried to be more of a pocket passer, and it ruined his career. He wasn't the accurate passer that he was. He started throwing at people's feet. But if you think back to what he was able to do as a coach, his biggest flaw was his time management and the fact that he's stubborn. He's a stubborn coach. He will not change his game plan. Now, obviously, Kansas City, he's got Alex Smith, but he's a quarterback guy, man. And you got Mahomes out there, which I'm very, very, very eager to see him work with him because he's a, young, mobile guy like McNabb was. If he can even have a quarter of what McNabb was with Andy Reid, they landed a stud at Mahomes because Andy Reid's going to bring out the best in him. Andy Reid is a quarterback guy. He knows. He's the quarterback whisperer, if you will. So They lost Ware for the year, Spencer Ware, but they drafted Kareem Hunt. Basically, I don't want to say a twin of Ware, but he catches passes. He runs the ball well. He's very similar. So they drafted somebody very similar who's going to step in and not miss a beat. And Andy Reid, the biggest thing with Andy Reid is everybody always says he doesn't run the ball. And that's right. He doesn't run the ball enough. But he 100% does use his running backs in every facet of the game. If you remember all the way back to Brian Westbrook, Jamal Charles, Spencer Ware, and now probably this year and Kareem Hunt. Oh, I forgot about Shady McCoy in there. My bad. Shady McCoy. Yeah, I'm still bitter about Chip Kelly coming in destroying that. So, but yeah, so that's he will use them, and listen, you're guaranteed your running back with Andy Reid's going to get 40 to 70 receptions a year. It's guaranteed because he puts them in a slot, swings them out, screens. I mean, any way that he's touching the ball 17 times a game, 20 times a game. He may only run the ball 10 times, but he's getting 7 to 10 touches outside of the running. He uses the running backs in every facet of the game. So he is equally as smart as Bill Belichick when it comes to making a game plan. Where Bill Belichick is so much better than him and everybody else is the changes he can make at halftime, the changes he can make during the game, and like I said before, getting what he can get out of who he has. Bill Belichick can take somebody off the street, and if you have something in you that he can use, he will find a way to use it. It's a chess match with Bill Belichick. It's not just about this player against this player. It's literally the team against your team. And I will find a way to make, all right, you got a good receiver. My cornerbacks are kind of suspect. You know what? I'm going to put 2 cornerbacks on you, and we're going to shut that guy down. Now you're going to have to beat us. He'll find a way, however it may be. So that's going to be a good matchup. The only thing that sucks about the Thursday night game is the fact that it's on Thursday night, and you got to wait all the way till Sunday till you get to watch more football. But for all the significant others out there, it is back. The No Fun League is back. Well, I heard, and we'll see, you're supposed to be able to celebrate again. I love touchdown celebrations. I loved the fact that I got to see the Joe Horns, the T.O.s, the Randy Mosses, the Chad Johnsons, or Ocho Cincos, whichever one you call them. I got to see their celebrations. And I know some purists don't like it. I look at it like this. If you don't like it, stop them. If you can't stop them, I'm celebrating. It's that simple. Scoring a touchdown in the NFL is a big deal. You should be able to celebrate. So, just my opinion. So, hopefully we get to see more of that. We need to get the sticks out our butts in the NFL. I need to stop worrying about getting sued and all that stuff. But, all right, I already been going. I want to get the faith twist in here. And my big thing was, why do we watch sports? Why do we watch football? We enjoy it. We enjoy watching football. A lot of us do watch it by ourselves, but why do we enjoy watching it with other people? You don't like watching not just football, but any sport with somebody who doesn't necessarily know what's going on. I.e., usually it's a spouse, and they ask a million questions. You're like, you got to explain it. And then they don't really care. You can tell they don't really understand. But when you get around a room full of people, that's why people like going out to sport bars and actually to the event itself, because you're around a bunch of people like-minded who share, even if it's different teams and you're heckling each other, it's still all in the around the whole thing of watching the sporting event, taking part in, watching the yards. There might be different levels. There's always different levels of fanhood. You go in and somebody like me who's taking notes on the offensive lineman and watching what they're doing. Oh, he missed a block. And other people are just watching the passes, watching the score. There's different levels of fanhood. That's what makes it so amazing. You get all these people in the same room, and you have these conversations about the game, and you learn off each other and you feed off each other. But this is the exact reason why we as believers go to church. I get asked from time to time, why people go to church? Why do you have to go to church? Listen, we represent the church. We are the body of Christ. But you go to church to fellowship. The definition of fellowship is a friendly association, especially with people who share one's interests. Now you see how that translated over. You watch a sporting event with other like-minded people. You fellowship with these people while you're watching the sporting event. Again, even the hecklers, even the people friendly banter. Now people take it overboard, they get drunk and they say and they do stupid things. You can ruin it. Just the same way in a church environment, you get your radicals who go in and they start calling people out their names and not doing anything that's really representative of what they were supposed to, the love that they're supposed to be showing, calling people out their name and stuff like that. You're not representing the God that I know. Same thing when you go to a sporting event, people start throwing food at each other, pouring beer on each other. You're not representing the sport that I love. You're doing it on your own. So they want to kind of go hand in hand, because this is why we go to the sanctuary. We go to sanctuary to learn. The pastor that's in charge of the congregation is there to teach. Again, we're all different levels of not faith, but different levels of learning. Some of us are in the beginning stages, some of us in the middle stages, some of us already have a very strong knowledge of the word, of faith, of belief. So you go here and you have fellowship to talk with one another, just like you do when you're watching football. There's different people taking notes. There's different people just watching. There's different people just absorbing. There's different people just taking it in. Same thing when you go to the sanctuary. There's people taking notes. There's people worshiping. There's people fellowshipping, talking to one another. There's people watching the pastor and absorbing it in, just taking mental notes. I mean, there's so many different kinds of people that are there that make up the congregation. And you fellowship with one another because you feed off each other. You feed off each other and you learn from one another. So this is why we go to the sanctuary, to learn from the pastor, to hear the pastor lead, and to fellowship and be around other people who share our interests. To share our interests. This is why we watch sports with each other. This is why we go to the sanctuary to pray and worship together. Listen, once again, it's your boy Big J Britt. The NFL is back. Regular season starts. I just wanted to spread this word with you. I appreciate you if you're still with me. Thank you. Love you. I'm going to be coming at you more and more often now that I got this baby working again. And I just appreciate the patience, and I appreciate you hanging out. Again, I want you to check out the JTC Exchange website. It's www.jtconthemove.org. There's a lot of stuff going on, man. E. Wilson is traveling he's traveling right now as we speak. He's traveling all over the country. He's going to the West Coast, the East Coast. He's doing amazing things down in Texas. He is all over the place. He's going to be here in Pennsylvania later this month. Actually going to the job that I work at, going to Graterford State Prison. He goes all over the place. We are all one. When you donate into it, you become a part of the family. When you because without those funds, it's a nonprofit organization. How nonprofits work, you work off donations to be able to do this stuff, to do the things that need to be done. Whenever people are in crisis, to put together fundraisers, to put together drives, to travel, to if people need you over here, over there. And to get around, it costs money. Gas is money. Tickets are money. And so your donations, you become part of the JTC family just by being a donor, just by donating. So if you get a chance and it's on your heart, check out the website regardless, so you can see what the work is going on. Look us up on Facebook. Look up my man E. Wilson. Look up the JTC Exchange. I share stuff all the time. So I'm going to be on there a lot more now that I got my baby working again. So look out for me. Again, JTC, reminding you, if you're going to have a conversation, make it a good one. And remember, fellowship with one another. While you're sitting there watching these games this weekend, learn from one another, man. Talk to one another and just have a good time. I'm out. Deuces.